Hello. I am actually going to take this in a different route that everyone else took. I haven't turned in my script. When I saw the prompt, what I'm doing in quarantine, I could really only think of the fact that I've only been eating, drinking water, watching Lord of the Rings, and cosplaying and doing my makeup. Since I kind of thought it out of my brain whole, I thought I would do a look for everyone inspired by this photo. Thank you. I had the wig, and enjoy. And now we're into voiceover mode. So this is actually my first time doing anything like this. So first I primed, and then I used foundation. Primer really sets the skin and gets ready for it, gets the pores all nice and clean. I blended that out with my beauty blender. Then I like to do this trick with my concealer that gives me sort of like a non-facelift. It just brightens my face and then brings it upwards, if that kind of makes sense. Next after that, just to let the foundation and concealer set in, I like to do my brows. For this, I'm using face paint, in which I highly suggest that you do not do because I'm stupid. Use powder for these, and there's me reaching over to grab something. I actually like to cut out my eyebrows with concealer and then darken them up at the edges, because if you leave them just flat, they turn out really one-dimensional. Next up, I'm going to do something that everyone's probably going to hate me for. I'm going to take off all of my hard work so far. So I literally just cut where I wanted my wax to go, and that's what I look like now. Doing this gives the wax something really nice to adhere to instead of just doing foundation. Next up, I like to powder myself, because if you don't powder, you're doing it wrong. So after powdering, I just put some white underneath my eyebrows, and now it's time for eyeshadow. The first thing I pretty much did was put some yellow around my eyes, and then I darkened that up with a little bit of light brown. Basically doing this gives you more of a dimension, because bruises and dark eyes are not just purple eyeshadow or blue. It's a multitude, it's layers. You gotta layer. Here I am just packing down some green eyeshadow for my under eye bags, or her under eye bags. Again, same with bruises and different things like that. Eye bags are not just a purple eyeshadow that you just smack on. There are different colors to each and every type of wound and sleep deprivation. Terminology, but you kind of get what I'm saying. Now I am just putting on some light purple to give it more depth, and also around my eyes because they need some love too. After this, I am just going to jump cut to when I pretty much put some red and dark purple around my eyes, just really puffing them up and just giving them more of a puffy look, question mark. Here, this is my way of mapping out where I'm going to put things. I don't really tend to plan out in advance. I normally just go with the flow. I put some latex down for a base layer for my wax, because personally I don't like the feeling of wax on my skin. There, I got it on my lip. Do not ingest this stuff. Don't be me. And now this is where the tricky part comes in. This right here is not sculpting wax, but it's what's it called? It's wax. And it is a pain in the butt. You have to warm it up in your hands. You have to mold it. You have to slap it on your face. It's a weird texture. It leaves a really weird residue on your skin once you touch it. I'm not a big fan of it. That's why you see me switch over to tissue paper in the next few clips. But latex acts as a barrier so that the wax can adhere to your skin. That's why I initially got rid of my foundation underneath that layer. Otherwise, it just wouldn't stick. Then right here, I'm actually just slapping on some latex underneath my chin to help tissue paper, or toilet paper, the famine, to give it more of a flesh rippy look, kind of like her jaw kind of melted off. And now time for the fun part, painting. I love painting things, especially just flesh. It's weird, I know. But I love adding depth to different things and adding and making it more realistic. The more realistic it is, the better for me. As you can probably see, I started off with a red and now I'm adding little purple dots because, again, flesh is not just red. You do not want just red on your skin, otherwise A, it looks cartoony, and B, it just doesn't work. I use a mixture of purples, reds, browns, sometimes blues, greens. But yeah, you always want to add a little bit of depth and a little bit of creepiness to it. Right here you could probably see that I'm actually adding a bit of veins around my eyes. I saw a really cool picture of this particular adaptation of this character, and I thought it was really cool, and so I said, you know what, zombie time, let's just put on some blue veins. Here I'm actually kind of melding the wax with my skin, because my skin isn't a weird shade of mustard yellow. Okay, and this is where I start to lose my mind and just this whole thing was filmed at like 10 and I'm still tired from it. But now I'm actually adding contour to my nose, and earlier I added contour to my forehead. This just really brings everything together, and I'm not a big fan of my nose shape because I have a hump on my nose, so I like to chisel that down, then add a little bump because everyone wants a button nose. And right here, I am just adding even more detail to the skin. Later on, I didn't film this, but I added a bunch of blood to this because my favorite blood is actually from Spirit Halloween. It's like a dark, dark red. It just adds something to whatever you're making, and it makes it look so much cooler. Here, I'm just adding some black on my chin to give it more of that effect of my jaw is gone. And now here is the final product. This is all done. I'm very happy with how this turned out. Shower and crying myself to sleep because this is going to be a pain in the butt. It is now 1 in the morning. Hopefully this is okay. Thank you, and goodbye. Time to worry about another 3 people in my family trying not to get corona.